been a while. Feels like a while. But welcome back to the Mostly Movies podcast with Nick and Christian. He's Nick as always. I'm Christian as always. And yeah, it feels like it's been a minute. We were gonna do a Thanksgiving episode, but everyone was so tired. We'll get into that. But first, as always, please head over to thescreengods.com and check out all of Nick's latest movie reviews and our podcast. And of course, head over to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and our TikTok, and also like and subscribe everything over there, and for all of our latest reels and content as well. Nick, how the heck are you doing, dude? I just saw you. I love that. Yeah, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes ago.
We did a little pivot this week where we'll get into what we did this week. We did not go to the theater this week, so spoiler. But yeah, just hung out with Christian at his extremely pricey apartment in Midtown Sacramento. I don't even want to know what you got to pay for rent these days. It's
too much.
Something I hope to never have to find out.
It's got tall ceilings. That's all that matters.
It's got a high ceiling, which is rare actually these days for new apartments. So you got an old apartment, which is actually working to your benefit.
Some of it, and it's also halfway falling apart because it's from the '60s. Yeah.
Your screen name today is Christian Nolan.
Yes.
And that is obviously on purpose. We're going to be talking about Insomnia. A movie, one of his early movies. Christopher Nolan, the director. For if you guys don't know, he's responsible for Oppenheimer, is the most recent thing that he's done. He got a lot of attention, but he also did several of the Batman movies, right? Or at least one of them. The original Dark Knight, I think, was him.
He did all three, but yeah.
Did he? Okay, yeah, I thought he did.
Inception, Memento,
several others.
Interstellar, one of my favorite movies of all time. He's probably my favorite director, I would say.
I would say at the moment he's probably one of the best living directors.
Definitely.
Who has not... Well, I can't say he hasn't done it, because clearly Batman, he did do it, but he's still what I would consider a filmmaker. He's not... He's not into the Marvel-verse. He's not relying on CGI. Last episode we did was acting to Gladiator 2. We gave Ridley Scott his flowers, and he is on the back nine, as they say. He's coming to a close.
He's on the 9th or 18th. 18th. Yeah. He's in the clubhouse.
And Nolan is kind of your current living legend at the moment. So he's done. Yeah, we should. That actually reminds me of another thing I want to do. Hold on, I want to. Keep talking. Talk about.
Well, what I was gonna say. I mean, he's only like in his fees. Like his run is gonna be probably one of the best ever, if not the best ever, in our lifetime. Because everyone else is getting. Quentin Tarantino said he's quitting after this next movie, which I don't really believe, but we'll see. Because he's probably gonna get bored too, or whatever. But I think he's. They might be around the same age, but I mean, yeah, like when it's like Ridley Scott, he's done Clint Eastwood, he's done everyone knows our thoughts about Clint Eastwood movies, but even still, he's done. And then what's his name, Marty Scorsese. Yeah, he's on his way out. So I mean, Chris Nolan's really, for his age, I mean, yeah, he's gonna have a run probably like nobody else, because he like has the desire there. Where Quentin Tarantino's like, I'm gonna do 10 movies and I'm gonna quit. Which is weird, but and maybe that guy Dennis Villeneuve, who's doing the Dune movies and stuff, that he's another name, but I don't know. Christopher Nolan could just, who knows where he's going. It's going to be crazy.
I mean, there are plenty of names. That's not the issue. It's just
but as established as he is at this point, like he's the only movie I haven't. Well, today's was. We'll get into it, but the last movie he made that I didn't really like was Tenet, and it's not that I didn't enjoy it. It was just kind of there was aspects of it I didn't enjoy, but it wasn't a bad movie at all.
Sure,
but
right.
Yeah, I don't think he's made a bad movie.
No, he hasn't.
And
that's what I'm saying is he doesn't really make bad movies because he is at heart a filmmaker. He's not. I guess what I mean by that is Christopher Nolan is not here to get paid. He makes money, so he's make. I mean, I think he just appreciates the craft. Maybe is the better way to say it.
Right? Well, he's so fucking good at it, right. And like he he's kind of like Quarantino or Tarantino.
Quarantino. Wait, you got COVID from 2020 on the brain?
I got long COVID.
Jesus.
Where like he's just
how did that not happen? How did that not come up during COVID? Did that not go viral? Quarantino. That would have been amazing. Oh, God. I think my point is insomnia.
Yeah. No, but my point is he gets he gets anybody he wants in his movies as well. He's kind of been that way. You know, he only made like a couple movies until he blew up, and then just immediately he gets whoever he wants, which is so.
Well, I think it's a little more of a journey than that. In fact, we can dive into this. The movie we watched today was called Insomnia, which starring Al Pacino, which tells you how old it is. It came out in 2002. So 2002, yes. Was that movie a major motion picture? Yes. Did he have stars in it? Yes. He had Al Pacino, Robin Williams, and Hilary Swank back then. All people who were stars at the time. Hilary Swank was kind of the up and coming at the time. And the other two had been highly established. But that was early. And it's now, I would say back then, yes, if you were into watching movies, like if you were a movie buff, which I think means a different thing back then. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, being a movie buff meant a very different thing because you couldn't just stream anything. Like it wasn't, you had to actively seek out, you had to do some work to go to know the movies. You had to go to the box office. You couldn't see new releases from your couch. You could do that now. Like it was a very different thing. And the reason I bring this up is Christopher Nolan, his power is exponentially bigger now, 22 years later. That's a long journey. I mean, I know we see 2002 and we think, it's just yesterday. That's 22 years ago. So he is exponentially more powerful now, and he was already big, like you said then. But it's been, he's, and that's what I mean, I guess, right? Is like, you don't hear him. He's not, I think he's happy to just make movies and never be talked about. Part of that is I think he's British, they're kind of just that way to begin with. Yeah. They're socially awkward individuals, generally speaking.
Gotten to work with all like the best actors and actresses. And I think this movie was like his second or third big release or big movie. And for him to get Al Pacino, who, by the way, we talked about it too. Talk about the substance. He looked like he was dying from the substance. He was disgusting.
This movie?
Yes. He looked
in 2002.
Yes, I was talking about his fingernails. His fingernails looked like they were flat and yellow, and I don't know if they were meant to be that way, but his face was already drooping off his face. His skin, and I don't know how old he was. He was probably 40.
Well, it was 2002. I'll figure. No, he was definitely in his late 50s already. Easy.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because the guy's been around, to your point, for a long time. So Al Pacino today is see how old he is, age. He is currently 84 years old. So subtract 22. The guy was 60. He was 62. He was already 62.
Running through that terrain. He had to have he had to have a body double just to run through the rocky scenes.
I think he did it. I think he did it himself.
The log.
He looked like he did it himself.
There's a scene. Well, the log scene. You think he did that?
Well, not for real. I mean, they weren't real logs. Yeah, that's for sure. Well, let's get into this a little bit because so why did you decide to pick this movie? And start from how we got not at the theater, because I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, our options were Wicked, which I have no desire to see or review because it's not my thing. It's not your thing. And all I'm going to do is shit on it. And I don't think that's fair, quite honestly. And I'm not going to pay to go see it. And then there was, what is it called? The red one?
Christmas movie, which I do want to see it with my kids because it's got my guy in it. J.K. Simmons in it. He's Santa. So
he's great.
I do want to see it. I just don't know that I need to pay it, see it.
And it doesn't seem kind of early for Christmas movies. I have in full disclosure, I have all our decorations up right now, but it seems a little still too early to pop on a Christmas movie or go see one. Am I crazy?
I think as of today, yes, it's December, and I think December is the threshold.
I know, but
if you're in the month of December,
2.5 weeks away. I don't know.
No, I think if it says 12 on the calendar, I'm in. I think that's fine. If it's but pre-Thanksgiving is really where I think most people have a real issue with it. One of my twin daughters, Lil, she is a big hater of pre-Thanksgiving Christmas shenanigans.
Well, I'm just talking about movies specifically. The decorations went up pre-Thanksgiving, by the way. Full disclosure. Full disclosure.
Well, then I don't follow your logic at all.
No.
I don't know how you can apply it to just movies. That's weird.
No, because the decorations, I'll put it to you this way. You put so much into the decorations, and which is hilarious coming from me.
You have two things in your house. You have a mini Christmas tree, and I think
it's
lights
not a mini.
Somewhere.
It's not a mini. That's fucked up.
Well, it's an apartment-sized Christmas tree, so it's not big.
It's smaller. Yes. It's smaller, and it's fake, and you put it together in 5 minutes. No biggie. But I did wrap. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You put more into the decorations, so you want them to last longer. Whereas I find watching a Christmas movie on December 2nd, or going at least to the theater to go watch a Christmas movie before like December 15th, I feel like it's too early. Like December 15th, I feel like is when people are like, you're really in the Christmas mood now. It's around the corner. The second or third. I mean, dude, because like the only other movie, it's the only Christmas movie out too. It's you either see that or Wicked, and it's just or The Substance, which is a weird lineup of movies. I feel like.
Well, that's December for you. There were some other Christmas movies that actually were out there, but one of them was a Christian-based movie, and it didn't last long because they never last long in theaters. They get ousted pretty fast. But I heard it was like a Christmas, almost like a Hallmark in theater kind of movie. But it was in there, and I heard that was good. But I can't remember the name of it now.
Well, and they're also
you're right. There's.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I get what you're saying. I
don't want to watch Christmas movies until a week away.
No, I think the problem is the closer you get to Christmas, the less likely you are to spend time at the movies, especially parent. I mean, you're busy and stuff, and it's a family movie, so I can see why people are like, yeah, let's get it. It's something to do. Yeah, I mean, it's not your cup of tea to go see a Christmas movie. I get it, but anyway, it doesn't matter. You weren't not happy, and I'm glad to hear your honesty about Wicked. I actually thought you were going to say something totally different, so I actually really appreciate your honesty, which is that you will not fairly critique that movie.
No, I'm going to hate it.
My reasons for not liking it is I actually in Christian Hell Month October saw a lot of movies, a lot of them, and so we started seeing the trailers early October for Wicked. And I'll be honest, the very first one that I saw, I was like, you know what? And it was a teaser trailer. It wasn't the crazy extravagant trailers. I mean, you had our thoughts on the previous podcast about trailers these days just blowing everything, and I think that's exactly what they did here. When I first saw the initial trailer, it was a minute. It was enough to say, look at what they were doing with the CGI and and the actual aesthetics of the movie, which is a big deal for a movie like Wicked. Like, no one is going there to see unbelievable acting. That's not what that movie's about. It's about fantasy, and it's a treat for the eyes. And if you're into musicals, it's a treat for the ears. We are not, so it's not a treat for us. But I initially was like, I would see it. I would go see it, because it looked like a lot of effort was put into the visuals of the movie. And I'm like, I'll go see it because it looked impressive. And then I just got hammered with Ariana Grande repeatedly over and over and over again in subsequent trailers. And then, of course, on my feed. And of course, they were pushing this movie so much. It was just endless onslaught of social media, all of those things. So, long story short, and Christian knows my take on things, anything that gets rammed down my throat, I'm immediately out on. Tesla, when it first came out, sushi, Apple, all those things. I got to get there on my own time. If you force me to do it, I immediately don't want to do it. And that's what they did to me. And also, I don't like it when they make a movie about a celebrity who, in my opinion, yes, she has been done their acting things, but she's a singer. So I just kind of just was like, all right, and I get it now that I realize how much of a musical it is. It makes sense, but so for me, it was just like, it's no longer a movie. It's a play on screen, which is really what it is. And so you're right. For us, I don't need to go see it.
Yeah, well, so. And it, like I said, it's just unfair. Like, musicals have never been my thing, will never be my thing. I respect the craft, and I respect the the actors, whatever. But also the videos from the press tour from this thing were some of the most insufferable videos I've ever had to watch. And I told my buddy Alex this too, he's a
he is into theater.
He's a theater actor. I even told him, I was just like, dude, it's like they're curing cancer with this movie, and I just can't do it. Big ups to people who enjoyed it. One thing that was funny, the main actress who played the witch, one of the interviewers, they were like, oh, people are like singing. They're like starting to sing at the movie theaters during the movie. And she was like, oh, I think that's great. I think you should sing. We all sang. I think it's great. You should sing. And then just Twitter was just like, if you fucking sing in this movie, I'll fucking cut your goddamn throat.
That's what they were saying in the comments of her interview.
Yeah, they're like, absolutely, dude. If you fucking sing during this movie, I'll fucking kill you. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, I don't need to see it.
Full transparency about where we are in the life cycle of our podcast. Right now, we're not paid to do this. So we don't need to give our opinion on movies that are trending, because there's plenty of people that are doing that. But in a world where we're trying to actually, be on a hobby with this, yeah, we're going to have to see the movies that you don't want to see, or that I don't want to see, because that's what will be trending and that's what people are going to want to talk about. But I do think there is space for someone like you, more you than me, to go in knowing I hate this. I absolutely hate this. And then see how you feel out and give your take on it, but with the honesty that you presented here. Because I think that would have been funny. Is you'd be like, I hate it. I hate musicals. You're not curing cancer. That being said, great job with the CGI. Whatever,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I thought the trailers, like the lighting and stuff, looked fucking terrible. Like every movie that comes out these days is just lit like it's Days of Our Lives. I don't like, if you notice that with every sitcom now, it all looks like it's lit like a soap opera. Every single show, every single sitcom, there's a way that they light it now that's completely different than Friends or Seinfeld. It doesn't look authentic at all anymore, and they're doing this with every single fucking movie that comes out, and it's annoying everybody. Honestly, they're like, and the director, matter of fact, another fun tidbit, came out and said, well, we wanted to make this movie feel grounded. And it's like, this is a fantasy movie about witches and flying monkeys. It doesn't need to be grounded at all.
Honestly, I don't even know what that. I don't even know what that means. Like, I mean, I get what you're saying. I get what they're getting at, but you saying we wanted this movie to be grounded is a subjective term to begin with. So, okay, it might feel grounded to you. That doesn't necessarily mean it feels grounded to me.
It's like watching Lord of the Rings and being like, well, I wish they would have made this more realistic. That's fucking crazy. It's about hobbits and wizards and elves and
yeah. Now, if you're doing the Titanic and it's a true story, historical, okay, maybe, right?
Yeah, but the lighting's terrible. It's fucking
full disclosure. Awful. Like, other than the trailer, we only saw a couple of scenes. So, but I will say this, and we'll segue after this because you're kind of touching on something that was also on the heels that I saw of our last movie, which was Gladiator 2. I don't know if you saw this, but there was some criticism of the cinematography director, I guess, the director of cinematography for the movie, who apparently, I guess, kind of called out Ridley Scott for his use of lighting and not making it either authentic enough, or basically the director of cinematography that worked for Ridley Scott was like, I didn't like the decisions that were made. I feel like basically Ridley Scott's getting lazy with the lighting aspect of things. And I was like, no, but again, I'm like, now maybe someone with a keener eye will notice that I didn't leave Gladiator 2 with any feelings about the lighting, in any way. So I was like, okay, maybe, but it's not for someone like me. Your audience, you're the voice of the movie watcher, as I would call us, would probably care about.
See it. First off, saying Ridley Scott was lazy is hilarious. Yeah, he's dying. He'll be as lazy as he wants, but
he's 84 years old. Yeah.
Even in that movie, I think it's in any scene that's bright at all, it's like this filter. They make it so fucking bright. There's no contrast anymore. Like, and that's what people were complaining about with the new Oz movie. If you compare it to the first one, Wicked Oz.
The new Oz movie is the most straight man way to explain that. The new Oz movie.
It's about Oz. But if you watch the original and all the colors they pop, there's contrast, and you watch any new movie now, there's no contrast. It's just in any scene that has any sunlight in it at all, it's everyone is pale as shit. It's nuts. So, anyways, but I digress.
All right,
But
we got to get off of Wicked, but
yeah,
that's how we got into saying we're not going to go to the theaters at all. And you decided, you know what? Let's pop on a little movie from 2002.
well, I've been wanting to watch this movie. It's the only Christopher Nolan movie I haven't seen. I'm pretty sure. I have to double check that, but I'm about 95% sure because he doesn't have that many either.
So first of all, I want you to stop what you're doing because I have a segment for us, and I want you to play along. Christopher Nolan. So let's first of all let's use our segment sound. Got to get used to these boards, and we're gonna do a little game called Rank Christopher Nolan films by box office performance. And spoiler, we're going to do this for the other two stars of the movie as well, because this is all about, how well do we know movies? You are a big Christopher Nolan fan. I want to see how big. Now, I'm not expecting you to get them in order. That would be completely ridiculous and unfair. I have the list from IMDb, and it's the top 10 box office movies. All I want you to do is see how many of the 10 you can actually get. So let's start and see. I'm going to say if you can get over 500, batting average of 500, get half of them, I'll be impressed. Because you are a big fan. Well, actually, I won't be impressed. That's the minimum I expect from a big Christopher Nolan fan. So here we go.
All box office sales?
It's just box office, which the reason why I did this is because it's really telling when you look at box office rankings, because they don't adjust that for inflation, to my knowledge. And so it's not like DVD sales. It's not any of that stuff, right? I'm dating myself with that. There's no streams involved. It's just box office, right?
Right.
So that, and they don't adjust, like I said, they don't change that for inflation. So I'm looking at some of this list and I'm going, interesting, for all three of these people we're going to go through. All right. So based on dollars, top 10 Christopher Nolan movies. Let's see how many you can get. Go ahead.
So first one's got to be Dark Knight.
Dark Knight Rises.
No, just the Dark Knight.
Just the Dark Knight is on there. It is number 2 at 1.005 million.
Wow. Okay. Damn.
Sorry. Oh, that can't be. That must be a billion because it's ranked.
Yeah, it has to be a billion.
It's ranked number 2, but it says 1.005 and then it has an M. And that's got to be a billion.
Yeah. Number 1, Inception.
Oh, but Inception is on there. It's number 3 at 826 million.
Okay, so it's got to be Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer is not in the top 10.
What the fuck? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Is The Dark Knight Rises?
That is number 1. The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, that's
number 1.
I could see that.
And that is 0.08 billion, just barely beating The Dark Knight, but it did beat it. All right, so you got the top 3 so far.
And then you got just the Batman Begins is probably on there.
It is. That's number 6, 300. But look at the difference in that. Batman Begins, which that's not the first movie, right? Dark Knight that's the first movie.
No. The Batman Begins was the first one. Dark Knight was with Heath Ledger. Yeah.
Got it. 374 million was Batman Begins.
Goddamn, dude.
They started with that, and then his sequel went to point something billion. That's incredible.
Yeah, well, that's
incredible.
Heath Ledger. Well, then the third one was even more hyped, which is, it makes sense though. And then you got Interstellar. It's got to be on there, which is crazy.
Interstellar is number 4. 675 million. Yep.
Where's Oppenheimer?
It's not in the top 10, so I don't know where it is outside of the top 10.
It's outdated. It has to be outdated then, because that made it. I think $1 billion. I think it made close to $1 billion.
Maybe you're right. This was created 7 years ago, so I guess it might not be. We can come back to that.
All right, and then you got Insomnia, you got Memento. Where are those at?
Both of those. Insomnia is 7, which we're going to talk about today. Memento is 9. So really, you're only missing
Tenet.
2. You're missing 3 right now. Tenet is not in here. No. But
Tenet's
that was also
either.
7 years. It was probably within 7 years, right? Let me see.
Yeah. Definitely. No, definitely.
Let me see if it would be in there now. No, no, it's only 363 million, so it might be 363 million would put it okay. Yeah, that would put it below Batman Begins and and above Insomnia.
All right, fill me in the rest.
No. Well, I'll give you number 10 because it's a movie I don't think
Oh,
either
I
of
got
us.
it. I got it. I got it. The Prestige.
That's number 8. Great job. 110 million.
Yeah,
Great. And also forgot that was one of his movies. It's one of my favorite movies. It's really good.
yeah, it's fucking
Um,
amazing.
all right. Well, I'll
Which
give
is
you
probably
one.
how Christian Bale got the Batman role. Was probably from. Wait,
Oh,
no, I think the Prestige was after Batman one.
it was. It
Actually,
was the
yeah,
other.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
the other way around.
yeah,
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 he
yeah.
got that wrong. There's a movie from 1998 called just called Following, and that was
Damn. So
like
I haven't
his
seen that.
number. That's not even a million, so that did less than $1 million. But that's his number 10 because there's not a lot. Like you said, he hasn't made a crap ton of movies.
No.
All right, so there's one more that you're missing, which is number 5, and this one is probably my least favorite of all Christopher Nolan movies, and I've actually seen most of these. So the only one I haven't seen that you've listed besides Following is, um, actually no, I've seen all these. So even Tenet I saw. So it's my least favorite, and I will give you a hint: is a war movie.
Oh, Dunkirk.
Dunkirk,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that movie stunk.
That might have been his. That might have been his biggest stinker.
People like it, dude. People actually really like it. I couldn't see the appeal at all. I was bored as shit the
I
entire
was
movie.
bored too, and there's just way. I think if you like it, my take on that is you haven't seen a lot of war movies. There are way
Definitely,
better war movies than that. Like
definitely.
so many. Like I would rank Lone Survivor like wipes the floor with this movie. Like it's not even close. So it's just
Yeah, I
anyway. And I
agree.
know there are different time periods and all that, but we're talking military war movies. That's just not good. So all right, so that's it. So you got almost all of them. But
Pretty good.
you just missed Interstellar, and really, I'm not going to give you a pass on Following because no one knows what that movie is. Probably something you should watch
Well,
though.
we're gonna have to watch it.
A young writer who follows strangers for material meets a thief who takes him under his wing. Interesting plot.
What's the cast?
This is really old. So 19 names I've never heard. Jeremy Theobald, Alex Haw, and Lucy Russell. All people I've never heard of. So
Sick.
all right. So nice job. So you did good. All right.
Not bad.
So
But to be
Insomnia.
fair, that's like all his movies. Yeah, Insomnia. So Al Pacino, Robin Williams, and one of the few roles you'll ever see him in. Maybe the only villain role he's ever been in.
I think
I don't.
so.
Yeah, I can't name another one. And then you got Hilary Swank, and then also what's that lady's name from Liar Liar?
Maura Tierney.
Maura Tierney. God,
Maura
I would
Tierney.
never know that.
I only know it because I had a huge crush on her when I was 15. So she was from ER. She was from Liar Liar. Huge crush.
I liked her better than Hilary Swank. They could have swapped roles. Would have been great. I
He
like her
does have
better.
one other movie where he's a villain, which I've never seen. We should maybe watch this one next. It's called 1 Hour Photo.
I've
Seen
heard.
that?
Okay, I think I started it. Who's the other guy in it? There's someone else in it.
I'll have to look, but keep talking.
Yeah. So,
That's
anyways,
Insomnia.
Insomnia. So Al Pacino is a detective from LA with his partner. They are flown up to Alaska to investigate the murder of a high school girl. They get there and immediately they let you know that both officers have some problems back in LA at their precinct. They're being investigated by internal affairs. The not Al Pacino, but his partner is obviously wigged out about it, and he kind of lets him know, hey, this is going on. And then Al Pacino's like, well, he kind of brushes it off at first, which is weird, but then he also goes, if it gets to me, then everything's fucked, which I thought was he was kind of brushing it off and then not at the same time.
Well,
And
I think what he was trying to do is keep his partner. His partner was spiraling a
right.
little bit,
And
and he was trying to keep him calm. So that's what he
yeah,
was trying to do.
because his partner was about to squeal, I guess. And so they locate who they think the killer is. They go up to his cabin. It's foggy as shit, which like you could see some like like small things that Christopher Nolan does now, kind of in that movie with like the fog and kind of just how it's shot. You're like, oh, that it's him in the beginning, which is kind of cool to see.
Hold on, real quick. Your mic somehow got disconnected. I'm on your MacBook mic again now.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. It's just nothing.
Nah, you're still. It tells me what your computer is using, and it's using the MacBook mic, which I could tell. It kind of like all of a sudden you
Now?
started.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it's not through the mic.
Yeah, I got you.
Make sure you didn't actually accidentally hit the button on the mic.
You can mute. Oh, it won't let me switch mics now. It's
Weird.
weird. Saying you can mute while recording, but you can't switch mics. So I can't switch back to it.
Hmm.
You have to
Weird. That's all
cut it
right.
and then start again.
Yeah. I'll just stop it and then I'll record.
All right, and we're back. Yeah, sorry guys. But anyway, so they locate the killer, who's Robin Williams, at a cabin. They go up there and they're chasing him through the fog, through the craziest rocky terrain, which was hilarious. And they kept calling it a beach too. I don't know what beaches look like in Alaska, but this was
Look like what you saw, rocks and fog.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
So Al Pacino finds an opportunity in the fog to shoot his partner, who's about to spill the beans on the IA case and the internal affairs case. So he shoots him, and what the movie then becomes is a case within a case, which I thought was really cool, because now it's about him not only covering up his own case, but then framing Robin Williams, the killer, for also this, which gives Robin Williams the leeway to start fucking with him, which was kind of pretty much the whole movie. And like Nick said, we were talking about earlier, Robin Williams doesn't show up for an hour into the film, and it's only a 2-hour film,
which is interesting. And I don't know if it's just because I knew he was in it, so my patience for it was a little short, because I was like, isn't he like the main star? And so it's only a 2-hour movie, so I'm thinking, but I think in retrospect watching it, he came in, it was okay. He was fine. Once he got in it, he was in it. So he got a lot of screen time once he got there. But It was kind of, for a while, I was like, is he even in this movie? One thing you glossed over very quickly, which, people, if they want to see this movie, should understand, is it's not really clear. You said he has an opportunity to shoot his partner, but it's filmed as in it was an accident.
right?
But you don't really. I think it was an accident, because there wasn't at least the way they wrote the characters. He was a clean cop. He didn't. He actually. They even made a point to say that he didn't actually have anything to do with the corruption that Internal Affairs was doing. It was his partner and somebody else back in LA that actually took money from drug dealers, or basically is what they did. And Al Pacino was complicit in that, I guess, but he really didn't do anything. So I don't think he really shot his partner, but they don't really, and even at the end, spoiler, Hilary Swank asks him, "Did you?" And he's like, "I don't know anymore." I don't know. Which is hilarious, because the other thing about the movie, which you could get from the title, is that the guy isn't sleeping, because in Alaska it's light all the time. So the subplots of the movie is that he's 6 days without sleep, and by the end of it, he's just like, I don't even care anymore. I shot him, I didn't shoot him, who knows? Just put me to bed. Which I thought was hilarious.
I thought it's hilarious too, because I resonate with that so fucking much, because when you're that tired, you're like, who gives a fuck anymore? I just need to sleep. Yeah. And so I thought Al Pacino was good. Robin Williams was, yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing too. Like, they kind of gave away what was happening. I thought it would be more of a mystery up until the end, where so in this movie, because Al Pacino's trying to cover up his own crime, he pretty much starts to work with Robin Williams, the actual killer, to try and cover up the entire, not only his crime by shooting his partner accidentally, but also the main crime with the girl. But yeah, it was interesting, because I guess that is the question too. When he did shoot his partner, I immediately thought, I was like, oh, that was on, he's using this as an opportunity. That's how I took it. But that is like the main crux of the movie. It's like, and I do, when his response was like, I don't even know, I believed it, because I don't think. But if you have to say I don't know and not, no, I didn't shoot my partner, it's like, yeah, I kind of tried to murder. I definitely, like, it's a yes to me at that point.
No, I think I get what you.
It's the moral.
I think the sentiment was, I sad that the drama was going to go away. No, like,
right.
So yeah, I'm relieved that I don't have to deal with this anymore.
Right.
This AIA investigation that could be hanging over my head. But that was the biggest problem I had with the movie. So I will say this in terms of problems with the plot. we're Christopher Nolan fans. He's not everything's going to be a freaking winner. Like, it's not going to be like the best everything. You talked about this in a previous movie. I can't remember which one now. We've seen so many, but about the stakes not being high enough. And
yes,
the stakes were not high enough in this
At
movie
all.
for him to do any of the things that he was doing.
At
Neither
all.
of that, like, because they downplayed, they made it that way on purpose. So it was kind of like, all right, and but you're right. There was some very Nolan-esque things in there. The case within a case within a case is hilarious because it just makes me think of Inception the moment you say that. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
Memento, which is kind of a mind, whatever.
Bender. Yeah.
Yeah, mind bender.
Mind fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. I was just waiting for you to fill it in. Our mom listens to this podcast, and she expects the clean stuff from me and the not so clean stuff from you. So anyway, but yeah, overall, I had some distractions, so I was a little less invested than I normally am when I watch a movie. But I overall thought it was good. I don't know that it would be number 7 on my list. I certainly wouldn't put it above The Prestige in any way. That's for sure.
No, it was like your typical, like in the early 2000s, I could see seeing it and being like, yeah, kind of a mind fuck maybe, but because it's been done so many times, it was, it's okay. But there was, I did like the shots of like the glaciers, which were in Batman Begins too. You could kind of see some similarities there, which I thought was tight. He was like, I'm going to go right back there. He was like, I need to film glaciers. I'm going to go right back there.
Batman I think Begins. Alaska is a great place to film in general.
And I love
a lot to like about that.
I love a murder mystery when they have to go somewhere secluded, but they didn't really make it feel secluded at all. The Insomnia aspect, that's the other part too, where he was just like Robin Williams, because he starts calling him, somehow gets his number,
which they don't explain.
The hotel, ever. He has his work number, he has the hotel number, he has every number he has.
On him at the precinct.
Yeah, everywhere. And no one's like triaging the calls either. It's just straight to his desk.
It's a local town, so they don't. It's like 66 people. So they
Sure. But then he was also like, I know you haven't slept in 3 days. And it's like, how the fuck does he know he hasn't slept? And why isn't he sleeping? I don't understand I guess him feeling conflicted about killing his partner and the son, but I don't know. Yeah. I feel like there was a couple times he could have slipped some Z's in there.
There was several. I was going to say that too, that they don't play the Insomnia is the name of the movie, and they play into it a little, but not in any in-depth way. Like, it's like, there was scenes where he's chasing Robin Williams, and it's like, are they going to play up the fatigue here? And then they kind of don't.
Yeah.
So, and then it's like, I'll tell you what, when he fell in that ice cold water, I bet you he woke up real quick then.
When he fell in the water, that gave him an extra 36 hours.
Oh, and here's the thing, and I know this sounds stupid to say because we're not filmmakers or writers necessarily, but why not play into that? That would have been the first thing I would have done. I would have done a line that when she's like, how are you doing? I would have been like, I'm all right now. Like, I would have just something like that, some sort of line. I mean, that's not the line. I'm not a writer, but you get the point. So like, they didn't do that. So yeah, I mean, it's a solid 7 for me. And using our heat meter, it's a solid 3.
Yeah, it's a watchable movie. But yeah, you're right. Like, the Insomnia didn't really play in. It didn't factor into the movie at all. Anything. And it would have made more sense if he killed his partner while he was tired, but he wasn't tired then. He had full energy.
He was fresh.
Yeah, he was fresh when he killed his partner. And,
which I didn't even think about that. You're right. Like, that would have made more sense.
Yeah, if he was hallucinating or something at the end, and he's like, honestly, it's the killer, it's him, it's the killer, I don't know. And then,
well, now that you're saying that, that's a way better plot, because he could have, at that point, that could have been the reason why it happens, and then the whole IA thing, he falls apart at the end. Like, that would have probably been a better way to do it, but hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, because the IA thing, he was like, I'm not tripping about that at all, and then he goes on this warpath to cover up crimes for it, and it's like, well, they didn't set it up that way. They made it seem like, oh, he's a clean cop, he has nothing to worry about, but then he's like, no, I gotta execute my partner right here and do a whole bunch of crazy shit to cover it up.
Yeah, or at least the illusion of it. Yeah, well, and again, with the stakes, like, the stakes were supposed to be, and they kept trying to, they tried to do this. They were like, well, it's about my legacy. Well, actually, it's not really about my legacy. It's about, I don't want all these bad guys that I put away to get back out on the street, which, first of all, that's not how the justice system works. Just because one cop is somehow found corrupt for something, which they, like you said, they didn't have evidence for anyway.
Right.
Like, I don't think you can just go mistrial because on every case that's ever been there. I don't think that's how that works. But I'm not an attorney, so
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure they could take a look into it, but they're definitely not doing that. So yeah, yeah, and also it's like, but he was like, he wasn't concerned about them. He was like, I'm just worried about my. It's like, well, maybe some of those guys were innocent and that you put away because you're a corrupt piece of shit, and he's just worried about his own.
right. But
His
that's
own
the thing is they go out of
tail.
their way to say he isn't. So they set it up to where he
Yeah,
isn't a corrupt cop. So the whole thing was a little weird.
a little wacky, but it's 2001. Decent crime thriller. I love the procedural aspect. I love the investigation. It's my favorite thing of anything.
Yes.
But you get to the middle of the movie and you're like, I could spell this out. I get what's going on.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get off of Insomnia, but definitely it's worth a rent, especially some of these throwbacks. If you younger people haven't actually heard some of these or watched some of these movies, I recommend doing it. It's a good thing to do in general. You sure one should do
Yeah,
it.
it was cool to see both Robin Williams and Al Pacino subdued or docile. They're both like very like they didn't become the caricature of themselves that you usually see of them.
Yes, it was almost like Nolan was just like,
Dial it the fuck back, both of you.
Alaska's not about that noise. It's not about that noise. It's quiet here. Okay. All right. Well, speaking of which, let's get into some of the 2 stars. That's a great segue because I want to move to another top 10 ranking. And this is going to be a lot harder. A lot harder. Robin Williams has done a lot of movies. So, by box office success, let's see how many you can get out of the top. Oh, this one goes a little bit deeper because he's got so dang many. Holy cow. This list is, because he's got way more movies. That's why. So Nolan really does not have a lot of. Okay, so there's a ton on here. So this is actually going to be more fun because I can tell you what the ranking is, like if you guess one. So this will be a little bit easier. All right, so we got.
Also, go ahead.
Go ahead.
He doesn't have like a lot of his movies. Are they box office hits? Because there were. I don't know if they're. I think there are.
You're talking about Robin? Are you talking Williams?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not everything is a hit, but he's going to have. There's going to be box office rankings. His top.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Gotcha,
so,
gotcha.
but I will tell you, I will say this: he's got a total of 58 movies that IMDb is listing. Now, in terms of money made, only 50 or 49 of them were able to gross $1 million or more.
Okay. Yeah. So it's just his top 10. All right.
He has way more movies that he's done. Absolutely. Way more movies.
Dude, I don't know that many Robin Williams movies either. Flubber. Top 10.
Flubber is just outside the top 10. It is number 11 with a horrendous critic score of 5.3.
That's a great movie.
And 1997. Yeah. It made 178 million though at the box office, which for
I think
time,
it had
was really good.
Shooter McGavin hot off of Happy Gilmore.
Yes, you are, dude. Now that is a hell of a pull. Yes.
Yeah.
Christopher McDonald.
Christopher McDonald.
3 main stars in there. Wow. Good pull. All right. Close to getting in the top 10.
I want to say
everyone should understand he picked that movie because we owned it on VHS in the thick Disney container set tape where it came in like a foam container, like a foam book jacket. It was unbelievable. Anyway,
and I gotta go Mrs. Doubtfire. I don't know if that's top 10 though, because again, box off that was so long ago. But Mrs. Doubtfire
is number 2, which is incredible. You're starting to get where I was going with that. That movie came out in 1993. 1993 did 441 million at the box office.
That's first off, that's movie
incredible.
That movie, the whole concept is fucking hilarious today. That it'd be like you dressing, you just putting on a wig and some makeup, and being like, "I'm here to watch my kids." Dude, so fucking funny.
When you really think about that movie, though, there's a few things that I think you have to understand about why I think it was successful. Number one, divorce that time was just at its peak. Like before the late 80s, people kind of just stayed together forever. The late 80s, it started to become more and more common in the 90s, but now it was like a commentary. And that movie, there's a lot of emotion in that movie about parenting. So I think that's number one. Number two, they just did a great job because they didn't just pick any random guy. They made him be an actor. He's a voice actor. They set it up very well, right? So it was anyway. All right, we can go
I think
all day about this stuff.
the only other actor who could pull that off was maybe like Chris Farley or something, because it's just so fucking outrageous.
I think that's why it worked, though, that it wasn't someone like that. Because Robin Williams, he's one of those actors that he's crazy, but people respected him. It's very weird. No one respected Chris Farley as an actor. Nobody. As a comic,
sure,
yes, but not as an actor. So
yeah, and I guess Robin Williams does have that gentle side to him too. But
he would do other things before then. So all right, dude, that's number two though. So good pull.
All right, Good Morning Vietnam.
I've never even heard of that.
All right,
that's number 14 though.
Let's go. Let's go.
Forrest Whitaker. Yeah. Okay.
Bicentennial Man.
I think one of his most overrated movies.
I haven't.
That is number 18.
Shit. God, dude, you're gonna have to help me. I don't know a lot of Robin Williams movies.
You're doing fine.
Jack.
You're doing fine. I mean, you're pulling some obscure ones, which is hilarious. You're like, I don't know a lot of them, and you're pulling the most obscure ones. Jack was number 21. You are now. I will give you a hint on the number one movie,
Aladdin.
You know what?
Does that even count?
That's not even listed here. I think because it's voice only, so it's not listed here. We'll give you a hint on the number one movie and the number three movie because they kind of go together. He's not really the main star in those two movies.
Was he not in Hook? Was he in Hook?
In Hook. He's the main star in Hook, and that is number 5. With 301 million. Great job.
All right, nice.
All right, but number 1 and number 3 are tied together.
Jumanji.
Nope. Jumanji's number 6 though. 263 million. Again, remember what I said. The hint is he's not the lead in either one, the number 1 movie or the number 3 movie, but he's on it enough to where they have it on this list.
I think, man, this is tough.
All right, I'll give you a hint. This is probably obvious, but it's part of a series. There's 2 of them. There might even be 3 of them. Sorry, there's 3 of them.
I know.
So number 1, 3, and 4 are all part of the same movie franchise. And he is not the lead in it. The guy who is the lead is someone we also like, who we've recently talked about on a podcast in the last several weeks.
Is it a Disney franchise?
Disney?
1 of 4?
I don't think it is a Disney franchise.
Fuck, I don't know.
1 of 3 movies. The number 1 box office, the number 3, and the number 4 are all the same series.
I don't know. Hit me.
All right. A Night at the Museum.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Well, he's in all 3 of them.
Yeah.
So.
Barely, but yeah.
I just think it's surprising because he's done so many better movies, right? But because it's not really like the lead, but that was 575 million was the original Night at the Museum, which what a execution by Penn Stiller on that one. Jeez.
Dude, now he's on Apple TV cleaning the fuck up, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. It's crazy.
All right. Let's see if you can give me there's one more you absolutely should be giving me that you're not, because it might be his most well-known role outside of Mrs. Doubtfire.
I'm missing it. I know, dude. So bad at this.
You're not bad. You're doing great.
It's another. Give me the genre movie.
It started as an independent film made by 2 guys on the East Coast.
Oh, fuck off. No, I don't know.
They say that a lot in their movies because they're from Boston.
Go ahead.
Will Hunting.
Dude, Okay, I was gonna say that and I forgot it.
Yeah.
Of
All right,
course.
he's got a lot of other ones on here, but for sake of time, we will not continue going into it. But he's got Dead Poets Society is a huge one that he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Also, he did a movie with Nathan Lane called The Birdcage and Gene Hackman, which is actually a pretty funny movie.
I think I've seen that actually.
And then Gordon's favorite movie, my daughter's favorite movie, RV, which is actually a really good family fun movie.
That is funny.
Really funny.
That is a good one.
And then 1 Hour Photo, which we already referenced, and you totally forgot to talk about it.
Well, I haven't seen it. I think I fell asleep to it.
1 Hour Photo got 1 star. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
it's not. It didn't
great.
get great reviews. All right. Okay. So not as good as your Nolans, but you did all right. All right. So now we got to go to Pacino movies, and these ones I don't know a lot of Pacino, so
I can give you a few as well. I got to get in the shower soon, so we got to wrap up soon. But I got a Kings game to get to, and my girl's dad likes to get there 3 hours early. Love you, Lon. Yeah. So we got Heat. Definitely.
Number three.
Scarface.
Scarface is number 15. Not even in the top 10, but that's because it came out a long time ago, probably.
Insomnia.
Yeah, that's number 10.
Fuck. I know he did did he not do a string of rom-coms too for a minute? Try to break into that.
I think he did one that people are known for, that people know him for. I don't think it was a rom-com though. I think it's something else altogether.
All right, give me a couple hints here.
Well, you're missing the obvious one, which is what outside of Scarface, the other big series that he's in, that he got to start in before Scarface.
Before Scarface?
Yeah, it's the original. It's where Scarface. I think
Godfather, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, the Godfather. Yeah,
kill me.
And then he's also in movie that we talked about in relation to George Clooney, which is ironic now that we're talking about it because George Clooney produced Insomnia, but he was also in this movie with George Clooney and a bunch of other people.
Not Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 13.
So that's when Pacino showed up. The second one was Andy Garcia, or Andy Garcia was in the first one, right?
Yes, yeah, Andy Garcia is. And then a couple others, just like you said, for sake of time. He's known for his Scent of a Woman. I've never seen that, but it got good
I haven't
reviews.
seen that.
Hey, Brosco, really good movie that he does with Johnny Depp, which if you haven't seen, I've definitely seen that. Good. Tracy was a huge movie in 1990. He was in that, and then The Devil's Advocate we did with Charlize Theron and Keanu Reeves was a big deal. So
yeah, I think he played
all in there.
I think he played the devil in that one. I think I might have seen that movie.
So maybe next time you can get me on some trivia, but it just kind of made me think about. I mean, these were power actors in this Insomnia movie. So power actors, rising Hilary Swank and Christopher Nolan. I mean, this is interesting to go back and see it. And I mean, like we said, the movie was just okay, but all of them had tremendous careers. So, it's kind of.
Yeah, and Al Pacino, yeah, dude. But yeah, he fucking aged. What happened? He took
he looks kind of the same now.
He might look better now than he did.
Look better now. I don't know.
Hair and makeup. Shouts out to you because he looked restless for sure.
He looked like he had insomnia, but
yeah,
that's it. That's all the difference we got was just how he looked. Nothing else.
Anything that stinks this week before we get out of here?
Well, 49ers season is officially over. We've referenced them in previous It Stinks segments, but it is officially over. And now what stinks is I have to listen to the rhetoric of everybody's opinion, which is fine. We all have one, but it's either you're firing the head coach or you're not re-signing the quarterback. Everyone has valid takes on both of those things, by the way. I think there's arguments to be made, but I am sure tired of losing as a 49ers fan. As great as that dynasty has been, you and I never have gotten to witness a Super Bowl. They did win one when I was alive, but I was only 11 years old. When that happened, and I don't even remember. Actually, they won a couple while I was alive, but I was really, really little, so I don't remember any of them. So So me and Christian have had nothing but just heartbreak, whether it's the Sacramento Kings breaking our heart or the Niners breaking our heart and falling apart. So that's what stinks this week, is that realization. What about you?
I will piggyback on that too. Other than having to get my cat vaccinated and licensed, which I think is a capital crime that you'd have to do. You'd think you could just own a cat. Well, you can't, folks. You have to license it and get it vaccinated every year, which is
They know about it.
Just very frustrating to me. But no, I'll just piggyback on that because the Kings, I'm about to go to the game right now. Yeah, it's just sports.
They're not good either right now.
No, they're falling apart. It's a fucking disaster. Everyone's hurt. It's the same old bullshit with them. And the same things are happening now. They're like, should we fire the coach? Should we start over? And you're just like, how many times? I can't. How many times can we do this? I can't. You got to hang in there as a fan, and we will. But yeah, both seasons are just. And the Kings are only 20 games in, too, 23 games in, which is
that's sad to mailing it in that soon.
Yeah, it's bad all around. It's just like, who fucking cares? It's stupid.
Everything sucks,
which I always say. But
yeah.
We're both in the fantasy playoffs. Shout out to us. We barely squeaked in.
Number 7 and 8 in the Ray Finkel Invitational, which is the league I'm the commissioner of, and winner gets a Finkel jersey, which is a sweet jersey, autographed by the commissioner. And I want it. And I told my wife, I don't want to buy it for myself. I want to earn it. Like the Dolphins have the best jerseys in the NFL. By my opinion, they have the best jerseys in the NFL. It's not close. They're the best.
They're really up there for sure.
Bengals are good, but Dolphins are better.
Colors wise, Dolphins. I like the Bills jerseys a lot. I don't know. There's a few, but yeah, definitely Miami.
Yeah.
Except when they're in Green Bay. Did you see their head coach out there, Mike McDaniel, just shivering to death?
He
was in 18 layers. He couldn't coach. He literally couldn't coach the game.
He can't coach in any cold, apparently, is what the knock on him.
Yeah.
He can't play, apparently, in the cold either.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but shout out to us. We're in the playoffs. Check back with us next week's episode. We'll probably both be out of the playoffs, but 100%. We're going to give it the good old college try. I'm facing 100%. Lois Einhorn as Roger Predactor Rad Dad. Christian is the waterlogged biscuit. Maybe he could talk about that in the next episode if he survives.
Yes, if I survive. And you know what? It's anybody's game right now.
Will the biscuits rise?
Will the biscuits rise?
This week.
All right. Well,
all right.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll see what we're going to see next week. Who knows? Yeah, maybe the forgotten. The following? Was it the following?
Just following, I think. Okay. Probably can't even find it. I bet you it's on 8-track or something, or Laserdisc.
Nintendo Power Glove. Thank you so much for the support, guys. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Peace out.
Late.